Good morning. My name is James Heasman. I'm the Professional Service Manager at Mercury IT. This is the final part in our four-part mini-series, and today I'll be discussing is your future secure, or even is your business secure? A lot of people already run Microsoft 365, but they just don't know the power and the capability of what it actually has. And some of the features just aren't enabled in the stack. So today, to start off, I just wanted to cover off some of the changes Microsoft has introduced in their namings. So as we can see on the 21st of April, Microsoft made the following changes. Like some people may already be seeing this on their bill, but I just wanted to clear this up before we went any further. A lot of people will be running Office 365 Business Premium. That was the SMB flagship of their products, and that is now being renamed to Office 365 Business Standard. And that includes things like your Exchange Online, SharePoint Online, Teams, and your desktop applications like Word and Excel. This was done because Microsoft created a product called M365 Business, and this included some advanced security, and it just created confusion in the market. So they renamed all of their plans, and now their top flagship is M365 Business Premium for the SMB market. As we can see, this is just showing you M365 Business and what's included. But today I will be discussing M365 Business Premium, as this includes some of the advanced security features that are required to make some of this functionality work. So now we've covered what's included in M365 Business and the name changes just to make it a bit clearer for people. How can we leverage some of these features to protect ourselves from a data breach or even data loss with the products you already own? Some people may already have an E3 or E5 license they're paying for, and these features could get enabled to get more value add from your software. But as we go through, we may be able to see how these features can benefit you. Let's have a look at some of the layers in M365. Ideally, we want to try and secure every single layer. If we start with user, every user should have MFA and potentially conditional access. If they're working from home and they shouldn't have access to corporate data, that's how we would stop that. And if you move over to device security, we want every device to have at least antivirus and BitLocker encryption with a remote wipe. So what does that mean? So that means if the device is stolen or lost, we can send a command to remotely wipe the device. Also, you know all the data on that device is encrypted. So even if someone tried to remove the hard disk from the laptop or device itself, you wouldn't be able to read any data without the encryption key. And then also application. A lot of people run multiple applications on their devices these days. And what we're trying to do is stop the data getting pulled from corporate to personal. And that's how we enforce them sort of restrictions. Then email security, we start adopting some of the advanced threat protection of ATP against zero-day and malware attacks. Then start applying some data loss prevention. So like credit cards and any other sensitive information embedded in the document, stop it being forwarded on. And if you look at document security, that's when we start putting tags on files. So if you've got a Word document that's highly sensitive, we can put a tag on that document to say this document shouldn't go outside the business and only X, Y, and Z can have access to it. And then we can start tracking the documents and revoking documents that shouldn't have been sent. As more and more businesses obviously start working from home, we need to start securing things. So in my mind, there's obviously four steps. So one, we need to get the Office 365 tenant set up, configured. If you're not on Office 365, it's time to move to 365 so we can get some of them advanced security features set up. And then the next phase obviously is to get a team set up, get everyone talking and collaborating as if they was in one room. And then make it fun, like train people to drive adoption, make them collaborate online, make people do virtual meetings with colleagues and customers and even partners. And then the key important part is the security. We don't want that business data going missing or ending up in the wrong hands. And that's where we set up them advanced security features to stop that happening. The conditional policies, the device security, and the tags on the actual documents themselves. And that's what we see ourselves in this current modern day. So here is a working from home checklist. Every company is slightly different. So here at Mercury, we may sit down with you and work through this list and find out what security fits your requirement. So we may go through everything like, is your Office 365 tenant configured correctly? Is your cloud identity configured correctly? Do you need ATP configured for email security? Do you need sensitivity labels set up? And this is something we do. So I'm going to give you a few examples just so you can see what's involved. In this example, you can see we've applied sensitive labels, and this is a great help. So what this means is this file is encrypted. So if for the example you've done your end of financial year and then you apply a highly confidential label to it, even if this file left the network, you wouldn't be able to open the file without your Office 365 login. And another great example is if someone accidentally copies this file from a secure folder on your company drive to a location that everyone can access, no one would be able to access this file because they're not in the highly confidential group. So it gives you that extra layer of security and stops people that shouldn't view the file being able to view the file. Identity security makes the user unique, and with M365 Business Premium, there's some great features. For example, self-password reset. A lot of customers still have legacy servers on-prem, and they work remotely a lot of the time. With this feature, it gives them the ability to reset their password wherever they are. As long as they have MFA enabled and have some security questions, they can change that password. And you're written back to HQ, so as soon as they go back to the office, they can sign into their Office PC with their device password. And then MFA. This is obviously the key thing. Everyone needs to have this enabled. You need to secure your business data. And potentially, if the third-party applications allow to do so, enable MFA on them as well. And another great feature is conditional access. If an employee has a business laptop and they're only allowed to use that device, they can use that, log into their applications, everything as required. But suddenly if they go home and think, oh, I'm going to use my personal PC today to access the corporate data, they'll get access denied. And same about location. To say if you have a receptionist that should only be working in the office and they go home and think, oh, I'm going to try and access my business email from home. They instantly get access denied because they're not meeting them requirements. Now we're going to talk about Office 365 Advanced Threat Protection. This comes in the M365 Business Premium and some of the E5 SKUs. So this is Microsoft Advanced Protection for email. And what it does, every attachment that comes into sent to your email address is actually sandboxed. So if it's got an attachment, what it will do is it grab that email, it will literally open the email inside a sandbox to make sure it's safe, and then it will deliver it to your mail account just to make sure you don't get a virus. But let's say it's a 0-day virus, so there's something in there that's not 100% right, and it makes it to your email account. What will actually happen is Microsoft will maybe over time the AI will learn that this is actually a virus, and it will actually recall it from every single mailbox that's received it. So the mail will just instantly disappear from your email account, and then you'll get an email from Microsoft to say the email you had in your account was actually a virus and potentially reset your password or do an antivirus scan. And this is one of the other great features of Microsoft 365 Business Premium. Continuing on from advanced threat protection, I just wanted to cover this a little bit more because it's a great feature. So if an email does actually come into your email account, what actually Microsoft does, it actually analyzes that email and it checks the links. So if you actually open the email and you think, oh, this is not for me, and you double click on that link just because you're intrigued, what will actually happen is you'll get a web page like shown in the slide. It will just say, open this page may not be safe. And it will give you a warning. So it actually protects your machine at another level. So it's saying this actually could be a virus or it could be malware. I'm not going to let you go to this page. But another benefit is it will also email the Office 365 tenant admin to say user X has tried to get to this following URL and this is what we stopped. But potentially it could be a genuine email. So that's where the tenant admin would go in and allow you to proceed to this site. I just wanted to loop back round again to my checklist because Teams is a big one. If it's not set up correctly, what can actually happen is you have multiple teams and multiple chat windows and no one really managing it. So for an example, if you create a team and you start adding all your employees into it, and then suddenly someone adds a guest into that team, but everyone's added personal data to that team, so lots of business data, lots of personal conversations in that team. What actually happens is that guest actually has access to all them documents. So everything that everyone's uploaded, that guest can see, and all them previous chats, the guest can see as well. Because Teams is designed to collaborate. So that's where we create our champions and start locking things down. And as we go through the slides, we'll work through a bit more in this. I just wanted to cover this off because it is a fairly new feature and an extra layer of security. Now in M365 Business Premium, you actually get rights to apply sensitivity labels to to team channels. Originally, this was an enterprise feature, and like I say, how does that actually benefit me? So now what you can actually do, just like files, you can actually do the same with Teams channels. So we can say this Teams channel, you can actually invite anyone externally, or the files in this team can't actually be downloaded on personal devices. So it's giving you that extra layer of protection. It's just another great feature introduced into this stack. So moving on to Intune, this gives us the ability to manage multiple things. So iPhones, tablets, laptops, and even desktops. We can apply policies to the device to lock the device down so the end user can't install personal applications on the device. We can apply policies to the device and also make a compliancy policy. So what we're trying to do is make sure the device has antivirus, make sure it has all the required applications, and it's meeting requirements, say like OneDrive. So we want all the personal data to be stored in OneDrive so it's backed up. And what also that actually does is protects the data on the laptop. So if the data gets lost, you know the data is in OneDrive. So it gives you that extra layer of protection again on the end user data. If we go over application security, this is applied via Intune. And what we can actually do is start ring fencing applications and data. So as we know, some devices do hold personal and corporate. So we use this example of someone receiving an email. So obviously they receive an email on their personal device or their work device. So if it's corporate, ideally we don't want them storing it on the actual device itself or even on the mobile phone. So this just gives us an example how this happens. So the end user receives the email and it's just trying to copy Excel to the local device. It doesn't allow them to do so. But the same with Word. The only option they have is to store it on the business storage, so OneDrive for Business. And another benefit of that is you know that data is always stored in a safe location. So if that user did leave, you know all that business data is stored in that secure location. One last thing I'd like to cover off is Microsoft Secure Score. And every Office 365 tenant has this, and what it does is give you an insight of what your security level is and how you compare to other businesses like yourself. It will provide you some guidance on how to make these changes, and you can work with Mercury to get some of these features applied to your tenant to make it more secure. In this dashboard in Secure Score, we can actually see our score over time. So it's great to understand what our score is today and also see what changes we've made over time. So if we look at the dashboard here, we can see we've made a change and the score's gone up, and it gives you a baseline of where you are at now in the reds. But if we hovered over each one of them little dots, it will tell us what was changed. And down the line, Microsoft may introduce a new security feature, so our score may go down. But it also gives us a notification what changes we need to make to increase our security again. This is a great dashboard to give you an insight for your security in your Office 365 tenant. I'd like to thank you for your time this morning. I know I've covered a lot of information in a real short period of time, but I really want to show you what Office 365 can really do and how it can really benefit your business. Today I've only really touched the tip of the iceberg. So if you have any other questions, please feel free to give us a call or drop us an email. Also, it would be great if you gave us a follow on LinkedIn. This will show you about any upcoming events we have. I'd like to thank you again for your time. Thank you.